Hey guys, this is Coach Adam White. We're here at Fringe Sport headquarters, and today I'm going to show you a couple things we can do with the One Fit Wonder strength bands for mobility. I'm going to show you a couple things you can do to open up your hips after you've been sitting down for a long period of time. First thing is going to be hip extension, right? So I'm going to take the One Fit Wonder green band. I am going to hook it up to the rig. Pretty simple. All I do is take the band, loop it through, pull it tight. Now this next part, I am going to open up the loop. I'm going to step into the band. I'll do the other leg. Then the band goes right into the crease between the glute and the hamstring, right? So the band is not down here, the band is not in the middle. I am pulling the band right into the crease of my glute and hamstring, right? Then I'm going to back up. So first thing I'm doing right now, just to set up, because during this whole time, this principle remains, I'm going to squeeze my butt as hard as I can, right? So my butt is squeezed, now I'm going to take steps back, right? And I'm going to get into a classic lunge position. So the opposite leg is forward, my butt is squeezed, my belly is tight, and then I'm simply going to drop into a lunge in this position where I am stacked on top of the knee, my butt is squeezed, my abs are on, and I'm just going to hang out here for a little bit. So I'm feeling a stretch right in here, right? I'm feeling a nice pull. I'm opening up this hips, I'm working on the joint capsule, so I can kind of shift in and out. I can take my hand, put it over my head, lean forward here. But the biggest thing when you're working hip extension is keeping your butt squeezed the whole time and keeping your abs on. Otherwise, you're going to overextend, and then you're not going to be working on anything. You have to keep the butt squeezed, the abs on, right? So this is just the first thing you can do. Second thing you can do, opposite leg. Step it forward, keeping the butt squeezed and the abs on, and then I can try to push my hip into the floor. So I'm here and keeping everything nice and tight. I'm trying to drive that hip into the floor. I like to put my hand on the band and actually kind of change the way that the band pulls into my hip. And otherwise you can just put the hand on the ground and pull there. But I really like this. I can kind of scour in and out a couple positions, keeping the butt squeezed. I can really get down. If you have some good range of motion in your hips, you can step the front foot even farther forward and really drive that hip in the ground, keeping the butt squeezed, the abs tight. Second thing that we're going to work on. Now this one is a little bit more difficult of a, not difficult of a setup, but it is more imperative that you do this correctly, right? So it is a hip capsule mobilization. So we're not stretching any tissues, we're not working on any the soft tissue, we're not working any of the sliding surfaces. We are working on the position of your femur in the joint capsule. So this is a joint capsule mobilization, right? So now I am facing away from the rig. I'm going to hook the band in the same spot, except now instead of being in the front of my hip or in the back underneath the glute, it's just right here in the front of my hip. Orion, why don't you take a step over here? I am going to get some band tension, and then I'm going to get down on all fours, right? So come on over here. Biggest thing here, so the foot can either be relaxed or here, and my idea here is I'm going to put all of my weight over this knee, and I'm going to imagine pushing my femur out the back of my butt, right? So I am literally, the vector load is right through the knee, and I'm pushing into the ground, and I'm imagining driving the femur out the back of my butt. So I have almost, it's an interesting sensation to describe, but it's kind of a pleasant sensation, either right here or here, and then I'm going to simply start to shift my hips towards my feet, because then I'm taking the joint, I'm affecting the capsule, and then basically I'm starting to, what does this look like? Starting to look more and more like a squat, right? We are mobilizing in the position of emphasis, which is a squat. So you can either go here. Another thing that you can do is you can bias some rotation in your hips, and how we bias rotation is we can swing the leg out. So when the leg is kicked out, this is biasing internal rotation, right? So I am internally rotating, and then the line of force is still the same. I'm imagining driving the femur out the back of my butt, or I can externally rotate that hip. So I can swing, take the leg, swing it in, pin my back knee down, and then same thing, right? I am driving the femur out the back of my butt, but I'm just using, having a little bit of biasing external rotation in that hip. So this is a joint capsule mobilization. This is for opening up the front of the hip, should be done on the daily, especially if you have an office job. And the hip capsule should also be done on the daily so that you can improve rotation in your hip for just a simple squat, right? So we're down here, and now I feel like I have much more free range of motion in my right leg than my left, simply because I opened up the joint. Those are 2 quick things you can do before every training session. Again, this is Adam White with Fringe Sport, showing you a couple things you can do with the One Fit Wonder Strength Band.